that offense is explosive. He's super talented. You saw a real big jump from last year to this year, and just in confidence and production. Still got to be, take care of the football. He did some things where I think he'll get better heading into next year, just being smart in certain situations and not turning it over. Had a couple, big turnover games, but pure talent and moxie and just competitiveness. I mean, he's as good as there is out there. And again, I think if he can play a little smarter football at times, and not let a mistake add to another one, I think he's got a chance to be a really good one. And like you said, he's probably one of three that are between JT at Georgia and Bo Nix at Auburn that are, really at this point considered big prospects going into next year.
Yeah, I think he's 5 times better than both of those guys. So I think he's head and shoulders the dude in the league. I don't know everybody nationally, but he's got to be in.
You're right. I mean, he's the guy that you saw sparks or kind of little spurts of wow moments over and over again.
Yes. Okay, so walk me through that. You train all kinds of guys that may do this really well but struggle here. To me, what I was impressed with as he's kind of growing up and maturing in front of us, David, and you know way more about this than we do, is that he's got this amazing ability to throw the deep ball, but he also has touch in the short and intermediate throws. Walk us through that, David.
Yeah, I mean, for a while I felt like he's always had just a big arm. Probably one of the biggest arms in college football. Just can throw the heck out of it. A lot of times guys that have that strong arm can't control it as well. I think he went through moments in that first year where it was, first call it year and a half, where he didn't have the ball control or ball command as much as he did this past year. I think that's part of the natural progression, but it's also coaching. And then it's also just him understanding strengths and weaknesses and kind of being intentional about getting better. But there's no question his touch is really improved a lot. And then, just accuracy's improved a lot. So he always had the cannon, and now he's this kid who can layer it in there and or throw it downfield or just kind of throw a wide receiver screen or a running back screen with precision. So I think it's part of the natural progression.
QB specialist David Morris, former Ole Miss QB, QBcountry.com, has worked with some of the best one-on-one. David Morris joins us on the Coors Light guest line, talking Matt Corral. Looks like he's going to have a great opportunity to play his way into the first round, and he's by far and away the best returning quarterback in the Southeastern Conference, which makes him one of the best in the country. When you see Corral extend a play, whether it's in the pocket or outside the pocket, and his ability this year, it looked like what Lane Kiffin had worked with him to keep his eyes down the field. How important is that, David?
It's important. It's part of playing quarterback. It's interesting. It's like I mentioned earlier, there's a certain type of progression that happens there. And the progression is just maturing and understanding that when you do scramble, that's when some of the best to ever have done it make plays and find the receiver, right? So it's somewhat of the improv. It's somewhat of the creativity of playing the position that Rodgers has, that all these Mahomes has, that some of these guys like Roethlisberger really thrived under those conditions. And so you're seeing him understand the game better and understand, okay, I just bought myself a little time. Instead of taking off and getting 6-7 yards, I keep my eyes downfield and be aware of that line of scrimmage, not go over it and try to find, an open target that may be, doing somewhat of a scramble drill type recovery from a route. So, I think that it just shows that he's maturing.
Yeah. David Morris, QBcountry.com. He joins us on the Coors Light guest line, former Ole Miss QB. He's worked with Matt Corral, Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, Mac Jones, among others. David, let's go to Mississippi State. We're all about the in-state rivalry here. They had to play a true freshman. You know about Will Rogers. You worked with Gardner Minshew. I saw you work Minshew out. You have a good relationship with him. You know what it takes to play in this league and to play as a true freshman when a lot of things aren't going your way around you. What did you see from Will Rogers as far as maybe moxie and the ability to handle a tough situation?
Yeah, I thought he had a good year. He got better. Tough circumstances. Like you said, play as a true freshman in the league is hard. And he really showed some signs of, to be excited about some things that he took care of the football pretty good. And, almost 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He was, in that offense, they're looking for accurate guys, and he was 70%. So, just some encouraging things. Ended up throwing a lot of balls. Threw as many. You wouldn't necessarily think this because he didn't start the whole year, but threw as many balls as Bo Nix did at Auburn, almost, right? And so it's just like he got a ton of experience and ton of throws, and I think all that will help him leading into the offseason.
David Morris on the Out of Bounds Show. What about Mac Jones out of Alabama? He had a good Senior Bowl week. There's people sometimes are hesitant on this because he had so many great players around him. He's obviously a good player. He's a super heady young man. You've worked with him. What can you tell us? Why do you believe Mac Jones can be successful on Sundays?
Yeah, so Mac Jones prepares in a manner which is unbelievable. He has a professional football, or really just a professional. Anybody who's really good at anything prepares, hard. And this guy will stay up until 2 a.m. every night of the week, which he did last week at Senior Bowl. I'd get a text from him at 2 a.m., saying, hey,
wow.
Sorry I never called you back. Got out of meetings at 11 p.m., been watching film and kind of, doing installs since. He's waking up at 5 a.m., right? I mean, this guy, and there's a reason he had a great week last week. There's a reason he had a great year last year. And there's if you're wondering if it's just Alabama talent, well, that's a bad argument because Tua had it and so did Jalen, and they hadn't won a national championship since 2017. So he's playing with the same talent that those two guys played with, and he had the best year in Alabama football history. So, I mean, there's all kind of people that are going to say this and that about Mac Jones. The guy was 77%. I mean, it's hard to do that, throwing 100 balls on air
Sure.
with your guys, I mean, this guy had the best year in college football history. And not only that, he's confident, but he's got an eagerness to get better. This process has been a lot of fun. He's been on here for a couple of weeks, and he'll be here for the next couple of months. So just the ability to get better, to know where you can grow, but also I think people are starting to find out, and you ask anybody around that field house at Alabama, he's got a special makeup, and he's got a competitiveness that all the good ones have.
I like it. We'll leave it there. David Morris, QBCountry.com, quarterback specialist, joining us on the Out of Bounds Show, former Ole Miss QB. And, David, thanks so much for your time today. Would love to do it in maybe another month or so as we get closer to the NFL draft.
Let's do it, Bo. Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, David. David Morris, QB Country, QBCountry.com, on the Coors Light guest line. And